Hello! So far, we have worked with various data types, variables and operators, and we have learned how to display information on the console. All we have done so far has been to provide the user the information about our data. In the course presentation, you learned that Java is an object-oriented programming language. More specifically, this means that in our program, we can use classes and objects. So far, we have created a class every time to work inside it. In an application, we will have to offer the user the possibility to communicate with us, to send us information. In the previous clips, we found out that Java runtime environment has a series of predefined classes brought when we downloaded the Java Development Kit, whose functionality we can use. One of those classes is the scanner class, whose role is to offer the user the possibility to enter information in the console so it can be further processed and used by us. Based on this class, we will be able to create an object. This is done in a similar way to the one we have used to declare and initialize our variables. First, we will need to specify the type of data. We want to initialize a scanner type. Therefore, the specified data type will have to be the scanner class. In our main method, we will write scanner. Here we can see all kinds of different classes brought from the Java runtime environment. We will have to select the first one, the scanner class from the package java.util. We will press enter. We can see that in our application, the scanner class was imported from the Java runtime environment. More specifically, from the package java.util. This text appears automatically and we must not modify or delete it. We specified the data type scanner, and now we will have to give a name to our object. We will call it reader. Next, we will use the equals operator, and to its right, we will have to initialize a new scanner object. In Java, the initialization of a new object is done by the keyword new. We will write new, and after that, as IntelliJ suggested, we will specify the class name again. We will write scanner. In its parentheses, we will have to write the following keywords: system.in. Now I have just declared and initialized a scanner object. In Java, objects can have behavior. They can have functionalities that we, the programmers, can use to achieve our goals. The functionalities of the scanner class that we had just defined and initialized are to allow the user to enter information to the console. The user can enter any type of data that we've talked about so far in this course. He can do so by calling the object methods. If you want the user to enter a text, we will have to use the next line method. We will define a string variable that we initialize through the next line method of our scanner class. We will write string inserted text is equal to the object name, which is reader, dot next line. Let's display a corresponding message before we do that. Let's write a system.out.println line. Please enter a text. Now we will run our application. And this time we can see that the process was not finished with exit code 0. After printing this message, please enter a text, the application will now wait for us to enter any information in the console. The next line method has the role of reading a string. Therefore, we will have to enter a value of a string at the console, after which we will press enter. We will write demo text. We can see that our application did nothing else. Why? Because I did absolutely nothing with the text I have just entered that was encapsulated in my inserted text variable. If after reading the text on the console I will make a system.out.println line in which to put my variable, things will be different. Let's display a system.out.println line. You entered the text plus inserted text. Let's run our application again. Again, the message "please enter a text" will be displayed. Let's say this time "Hello everyone." I will press enter, after which we can see the message "you entered the text hello everyone" was printed. My text entered in the console was encapsulated in a string variable inserted text, after which I was able to use it in my business logic. Just as I read a text from the console, I can read any type of data using the appropriate method. The scanner class has several methods for reading each type of data. If I want to read an int, an integer for instance, I will use the nextInt method. Let's comment on reading our text and display a following message. System.out.println, please enter a number. To read an integer, we will declare an int variable inserted number, which will be equal to my scanner object, which I called reader, dot, and here I can see that IntelliJ suggests the method nextInt. After that, again, I can write a system.out.println, you have entered the number plus inserted number. I will run the application and the program will ask me to enter a number. I will enter 55. You have entered the number 55. If I run the application again and it will wait for me to enter an integer and I will enter a text, let's say test, the application will crack because the string test cannot be encapsulated in an int variable. Let's comment on our reading again. To read a double number, I will first print a system.out.println, please enter a double number. Here we will use the next double method. Double inserted double will be equal to my reader dot next double. We will display a message system.out.println, you have entered the double number plus inserted double. We will run the application again. And our application is now waiting for us to provide a double number. I will enter 3.45, after which a message will be displayed. You have entered the double number 3.45. From one computer to another, reading double numbers may be different. We may have cases where our double number must be entered with a dot, as I just did earlier. If your application cracks, it means that you will have to replace the dot with a comma. You must write 3.45. In my case, the application cracks. This inconsistency depends on one computer to another. So let's go further. To read a float number, we will display a message. Please enter a float number. And we will write float inserted float is equal to my reader dot, you guessed, next float. You have entered the float number inserted float. Again, I will run my application. I will provide 10.1 and I have just entered the float number 10.1. Let's comment our code. To read a long number, we will use the next long method. Let's display a message. System.out.println, please provide a long number. We will write long number is equal to reader dot next long. We will also write a system.out.println, you entered the long number plus long number. we will run again our application. We will provide 999999999, and we can see that it also printed whichever number I just entered here. To read a boolean, we will use the next boolean method. We will write a system.out.println, please enter a boolean. We will write boolean, my boolean is equal to reader dot next boolean. System.out.println, you have entered a boolean plus my boolean. I will run the application. I will provide true. I have just entered true. I will provide false. I just entered false. I will provide anything else, maybe, and my application will crack. I will only be allowed to provide true or false in the case of this method. Again, I will comment my code. In characters, things will be a little different. For this, we will use two methods. If we want to enter a character from the keyboard, we will display a message. System.out.println, please enter a char value. We will declare a variable of type char inserted character will be equal to reader, and here we will not have any next char method, as you can see. We will have to use the method next, which will bring us the first word entered from the keyboard, after which we will pass dot again and use the following method, char at, and in its parentheses we will have to pass the index 0. This chain of methods will return us in the first instance the first word entered from the keyboard, after which it will return its first character. As you have seen, before each reading from the console, it is recommended to display to the user an appropriate message to know what to do. Please enter a char value. Let's also print our letter. Provided char plus inserted character. I will run the application, insert the letter B, provided char B. In Java we have a bug. Although we can use our scanner object to make multiple readings from the console, when our reader will be used to read both a text and a number, our application is possible to crack. That is why it is recommended to declare a scanner for each type of data that you want to read from the keyboard. One to read text values and one to read numeric values. If we uncomment all of our code, and somewhere in the middle we will try to do another text reading after we have already read a number, we will see that we will have a problem. I will copy the reading of the text and I will paste it again just between the reading of an int and a float. Let's write inserted text 2 and 2. We will run our program again and my application says, please enter a text, hello. You have entered the text hello. Please enter a number, 12. Please enter a float number. As you can see, after the reading of my integer number, my program ignored those lines of code and jumped right to the reading of my float number. To solve this problem, we can define another scanner object. I will say scanner reader text is equal to new scanner system.in. My default reader will be used to read numeric type values and the text reader will be used when I want to read text. So let's replace everything. Reader text next line. I will leave the number with my initial reader. Again, the reading of my text will be done through my reader text object, inserted float with my initial reader, same goes for long, and also let's use our text reader for the characters. Here I just have a little problem because this line of code should have been right above the reading of my float. Now it's all in order. Again, let's run our application. I will provide a text, hi, enter the text hi. Number 12, I enter the number 12. Here, as you can see, I will be allowed to enter my text now. Hi, again. You enter the text hi again. Please enter a flow number. 13. You have entered the flow number 13. Provide a long. Whatever I just entered here. Provide a boolean, true. You have entered the boolean true. Please enter a char value. Star. Provide a char star. Now my application finished. So again, every time you want to read different kinds of data from this console, you will have to use a specific reader for each type.